closer.
Ooh.
Big sister lets us know.
Hey, kill the patriarchy, man. Kill the patriarchy.
We got to be getting close.
Come on now.
Spinning. This is that bonus content, y'all. It's that bonus content. That
it is.
Well, and tonight we're not saying anything because Aaron got a little tipsy early before the show.
Oh, that's no fair. Dang it.
Look, man, you know where to buy alcohol.
There it is. You said what? What'd you say?
I said you know where to buy alcohol.
That's awesome. What up, peoples?
I can't be everywhere. What's up, folks? It is it's that time again. It's Wednesday night. There's craziness all around. And it's the Evan and Aaron show. Yep, my phone just went ding. It's the Evan and Aaron show. We live and we out here.
You alcoholic. Troy
already
started in already, man.
Already What's catching hell already, Troy? Troy to the Divas. I'm gonna call you Divas. It's the Evan and Aaron show. That's Evan, or maybe that's Evan. I'm not sure.
Well, no, you're right.
And
then that's.
I'm Aaron, and we appreciate you tuning in. And we've got some interesting stuff going on. I think first off, congratulations to Giannis in the city of Milwaukee. First NBA championship in like 50 years, 55, something like that. Great. 50 years. And I believe a gentleman named Lou Alcindor may have given them that last title.
1971, my friend, 1971.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you say they haven't won a title for 50 years, that sounds like a long time. And then when you say 1971 is only 3 years before I was born, I get a little peeved. Just saying.
It's like, wait a minute now. That hit a little too close to home. I thought you were going Cleveland Browns on me. I thought you were going to say, yeah, you think 50 years is long? Man. Yeah. Troy, I remember that because I'm a good sports fan. That's what I was born in 73, my friend. I was born in 73. But Jesus, I remember.
You're old.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the content there, brother. Let's go.
All about the content.
Heard of Kareem. Never heard of him. Hey, Io. Mama named him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay.
I'm going to call him Clay. Mama called Clay. So yeah, congrats. I was actually, got to be honest, I was actually pulling for Chris Paul and the Suns. Kind of was digging what they were putting down. Really enjoyed that little run there, but no disrespect to Milwaukee. They got some great players. This is the thing now. They say it's easier to get it than it is to keep it, and everybody's going to be gunning for them next season and knowing what they got. So that's cool. It was a little anticlimactic. I think at some point it just became obvious that Milwaukee was just going to win.
Yeah, it's one of those days where you kind of wish it was like, I wish this was in Milwaukee. I mean, it's that perfect storm, right? I mean, the same thing you could say with the Cavs whenever they won in 15 is like, man, I wish this was in Cleveland. But
were they not in Milwaukee last night? I thought they were in Milwaukee last night.
No, they were at Phoenix.
Were they in Phoenix? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Two places I have no intention of visiting anytime soon: Phoenix and Milwaukee. Yep, I said it. So
you want to weigh in on the game? Sure. Can we have a quick guest?
Sure. Jump in.
Okay. All right.
Jump in.
This is a protege of mine, young man that is a very great college scholar, Michael. You can give your opinion about the game last night.
I know it's been a while, but rest in peace to the GOAT.
Okay. Kobe.
GOAT.
Gotcha.
Mamba Power.
I'm going to be honest with you. I had Phoenix in 7, but it's okay because I'm not mad. Giannis played great. He had a great performance. I'm not mad about it. I mean, you can't argue 50 and 14.
No.
And then the fact that he went, 17 for – no, it was 19-17 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't argue it. So Congrats to Milwaukee. Giannis got a ring. Two-time MVP,
I,
Defensive Player of the Year.
I,
Not mad about it, but Chris Paul should just go ahead and retire. He's done.
Yeah. I just don't see how he can pull off another run.
He
Okay.
can't.
all right. Hey, no,
No,
you might
that's
have a job as a color commentator, man. Okay. The man on the sidelines. Okay. See, we spread the love on the Evan and Aaron show.
hell yeah. And speaking of spreading, there was an attempt to spread some mayonnaise across Hamilton County. I hope everyone understands the joke I'm making there. Look, I like mayonnaise on a sandwich too, but
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Why?
so I saw a flyer, and I'm sure if you follow me on here or maybe even your own feed, you probably know a teacher. You saw that there's a certain group of look. I'm just gonna be blunt. It's 14 middle-aged white dudes from Fishers.
I'm looking for it right now, man.
That critical race theory and gender affirmation, and I believe there were 4 points to it, and they're so ridiculous on their face. Because first off, yet again, critical race theory is not being taught in school. Now,
Thank you.
if there are elements that are trickling down and certain teachers are bringing that in, I don't know what to tell you. I've heard and read about some curricula around the country. I don't know how easy it is to trace that back to true critical race theory. I think yet again, a certain group of people, Republicans, are using this as an opportunity to denigrate a particular term, a particular idea, and yet again, people of color, paint it with a broad brush, make it sound horrible and much worse than it really is. Because we've covered this before. Critical, yes, there you go. I mean, that is just,
it's atrocious. It is absolutely atrocious.
I try to wait to pass judgment on things, but this one's pretty blunt. Action plan for addressing indoctrination in public schools, banning critical race theory, which isn't taught, parental consent for mental health testing. Not really sure what
is already needed.
Parental consent for sex education instruction, which is already needed, and banning gender identity instruction. I'm not even sure what they mean by that. Again,
taught.
Yeah. So, creating boogeymen out of whole cloth here. And look, if you told me right now, and I don't know any of these men. I've looked through the list. I don't know any of them personally, and I am not slandering. Well, I've heard Von Wamsley,
okay,
but I don't know him. But I can tell you straight up, if you told me that you had a crystal ball and in 2 years, a couple of these guys were going to go down for touching little kids or smoking meth in the park or touching kids while smoking meth in the park, I won't be fucking surprised one little bit.
Oh my God, dude.
Look, I'm not saying 14 white guys can't get together and come up with some decent ideas, but when you're specifically talking about critical race theory and gender politics and sexuality and the intersection of all those things, 14 white dudes probably aren't going to cover every angle that you could get at. I'm a fairly, I hate this term, I'm a fairly woke fella, but I freely admit I got blind spots, and I have no problem acknowledging that another voice in the room with a completely different perspective is valid. And it almost, I feel like they're trolling. Like you have to, at some point you have to look at this and go, shit, couldn't we at least get somebody's wife? Didn't somebody marry an Asian woman? Come on.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think what's going to happen with this, and I want to be very, very cautious about this, Aaron, and the fact that, this is not the, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it because technically it's just us. This is not obviously every Republican. This is not every Republican. I've talked to people about this. I've talked to Republicans about this, and they're appalled. But what's so convenient about what is being done here is that you see the incredible inequities that are involved in this. You have an owner of an establishment, first of all, an owner of establishment who actually believes this stuff, believes that all of these things are infiltrating young people's minds and are creating this elite class of robots.
Before we go too far, do we know that? Because he has said that he was not aware of what the agenda was. It was just a group of people writing it out, and has since they're not going to be there. Now, whether that was his decision or not, I'm just saying, I don't know the man. I don't know any of these gentlemen. I do not, but he wasn't the one who put the flyer out.
Okay. That's a great correction. And what? To whoever's watching, I was wrong about that. I do not know that. So I will take that back. But I will say this, it has put an incredibly dark cloud over a great establishment that I love going to. And so now we're going to have to figure this out. But this is what's going to happen. Is if this is tied back to leadership and ownership of this establishment, the cries for cancel culture are going to be so loud that these guys are going to feel, not just the owners, but every guy that's listed on that flyer and brochure, every one of them are going to cry, oh, this is cancel culture, it's ruined my business and stuff like that. It's like, when are they going to realize that, no, you are supporting a lie that ruined your business?
Well,
that's the whole point.
Isn't voting with your dollars, as they say, isn't that a reflection of the free market? Isn't this the free market in action? I'm with you. They will scream cancel culture.
Absolutely.
And Io has a great point. I love how they call it indoctrination as opposed to what they are trying to do. Look, anytime you're trying to teach a very specific thing to especially children and limit what they are exposed to, I'm pretty sure that meets the definition of indoctrination. I don't have Merriam-Webster up in front of me, but I'm pretty sure something along those lines is what defines that. And that's exactly what you're saying. And to be fair, in some ways you could say it's indoctrinating people to believe that all people are worthy of respect and humanity. But I will cop to that accusation. Yes, I'm indoctrinating people into the cult of love. Welcome to it.
Yeah. So we have a couple of comments. Gia, what's up, Gia? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Hey, Gia.
So anyone?
Congrats, by the way.
Tell me what. Oh yeah, got that test done. Way to go. We got another.
I read my Facebook feed.
Incredible educator. I'm telling you. But and this is something that quite frankly, Gia, Aaron's right on, because I do not have all the facts. Wolfie's was listed as the place to gather. However, I'm not sure that Wolfie's was involved in the planning and and stuff like that. So, I take that for what it's worth. I choose to look at it as somebody who rents out their place, and as long as you pay for it, that's cool. I think there are some flaws with that. I think there are some, huge problems with that. But once again, it's letting your dollars letting dollars determine what you believe and what you say.
Well, I think when you find out that there's a quasi Klan rally being held under the guise of shitty brown suits in your back room, you're well within your rights to say, nah, I don't want to be associated with that. That's what people forget. That, the sign out front says we reserve the right to refuse service to anybody.
True.
It's a variation of no shirt, no shoes, no service. Look, if a place says right now you got to fucking wear a mask to be in here, suck it. Yeah. Now you need local authority to back you up on that kind of stuff. But at the same time, these are private businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I, what I've noticed throughout this whole thing, what really consistently gets me is how many people think they know something and their lived reality is the exact opposite of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it blows
Yep.
my mind. It absolutely blows. The number of people who are like, well, you can't arrest me. I'm a sovereign citizen. You have no authority over me. You ran for office, dipshit.
Yeah, exactly.
You actually
That doesn't.
vote. Like, have you noticed this? The people on the that have been arrested for 1-6, and they're
Yeah.
like, no, I'm a sovereign citizen. You have no authority over me. Okay, don't you sit on your local city council? I do. Okay, then what the fuck do you think you're a part of? You don't get to just choose which laws you want to agree with, and that
Right.
applies to all of us. Look, if you're
Right.
standing on the street corner right now in Indianapolis smoking a joint, that's against the law. Is it a silly law? Yes, it is. But you need to know
But
it's a
it's
fucking
still
law.
yeah.
Look, if you decide to bludgeon a police officer with the American flag at the end of a flagpole, just because you got lied to and you bought into that shit, doesn't mean it's acceptable.
You know, I love Jameson. I could walk into a liquor store and say, you know what? I thought all the Jameson was for me. I'm so sorry. Damn, I shouldn't
that's my
have taken
shit.
it all. Yeah. Dude, this is something that is going to reverberate for a long time. And here's what's so sad about this is that as a Hamilton County resident,
So bougie.
it no, I live on the south side, so you know that's where all us folk are moving into.
The south side of Fisher.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what's so sad about it is that you want to believe that the community
Throw it up.
you
Throw it up.
want to believe that the community you live in is
Do you guys wear taupe?
safe and cool.
You guys all have taupe bandanas?
Wow. Is it I can't have a serious moment, can I?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like, damn, man. I'm not trying to remember where I was. No, I mean, it's sad because you want your community to be cool. You want your community to be cool, man. I mean, you know, to be able to hang this up
Yes.
and people come by and they're cool, you know, and it just be awesome to be able to talk about different things. I mean, for the most part, our favorite watering hole, I can sit across from, you know, are we allowed to name names? In a good way. Is it okay to say names? Okay, let's not do that. I can sit across from one of our best friends, knowing that this person is, you know, has an R by their name, and it doesn't matter because right and wrong has a place in no matter what ideology you have. This is a right thing to teach. It's right to teach true history.
Mhm.
It's right to teach what actually happened. And the fact is that this is what makes CRT so awesome, is that you can't only teach it, you have to manage the fallout from it afterwards. You've got to be able to take students, and I'm talking college students because it's not even taught in high school, but you have to be able to take college students and you've got to manage all of that shit that comes up. Like, they're like, oh my God, this all happened? Yeah, it all happened. But it's because young people like you were not taught about it. And so it perpetuated itself over and over and over again. And the fact is that if we don't teach it now, it may not result in the burning of Greenwood, but it'll result in some other injustice that's going to be done to a community of color. Yeah. So that's why it needs to be taught. It's not something that is indoctrinating people. It literally is teaching real history. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. And then examining what happened.
Well, and the last couple of years, I've tried really, really hard to try to understand certain groups of people. And, you know, I go back to, I went to Germany in 2006 for the World Cup. And, you know, Germany's less than, at that time, Germany was approximately 60 years removed from essentially starting a coup on the world.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not going to say it's something all Germans are thrilled to talk about, but it's their history. And they for the most part, seem to address it straight on. You know, we were on the bus. Guy overheard us talking. Hey, great. You know, some Americans and English guys, you know, in town for the World Cup. Where are you guys heading? Well, we're going to Dachau. Guy's like, okay, cool. Like, you know, it wasn't, he didn't personally have to atone for it.
Yeah.
Or anything else. He's like, yeah, that's probably a place to go see. You know, he didn't say enjoy your day, because you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, he wasn't like, fuck, don't, you know, wouldn't you guys rather go to, you know, the Hofbrauhaus or something like that? Like, he understood, like, this is important to know your history. And I try to reconcile that with the whole, like, history's written by the victors. And I think the problem right now is there's a certain group of people who are realizing that in the long moral arc of world history, they aren't necessarily the winners. And they don't understand how that doesn't necessarily mean they're also the losers, because they're not. They're not. You're still sort of a winner for being here in the United States. But that long moral arc says you've been complicit in something.
Yeah.
And they don't like how it feels. And you shouldn't like how it feels. But that doesn't mean it's personally on you. You should just acknowledge it's this thing that existed, let people learn it, and we'll move on together. If you really want to move on, that's how you do it. You don't pretend it didn't happen. You don't take the Texas school book policy and be like, nah. I mean, the reason why everybody learns about the Alamo is because Texas is essentially the place that okays textbooks for the schools around the country. What Texas does, everybody else does.
Yep. Before that, it was the Daughters of Confederacy. And so they were the ones that actually wrote that slaves were happy in slavery.
Well, now they can't teach about Native Americans. You're right.
Yeah.
They did teach that slaves were happy and they were better off and loved their masters. But now they can't teach about Native American history and reservations and I'm assuming, you know, the Trail of Tears and things of that, which again is, you know, here's an entire civilization of multiple civilizations of Native Americans living here, right?
Yep.
How many tribes spread across America?
Oh man,
Tens, hundreds.
Yeah.
And that portion of history is reduced to Trail of Tears, Custer, Little Bighorn, and a couple Native American names, Sitting Bull.
And Custer is lifted up kind of on a pedestal. It's like, man, look at what happened to him.
He was a hell of a soldier and just made a mistake.
And it's like, you know,
big fucking mistake.
Yeah, he did. And you're right. I mean, for what it's worth, it is absolutely amazing that we are in 2021 having a conversation about what to and what not to teach when it comes to history, American history.
Things that happen.
It's absolutely. These things happen, man, and they were very significant for our country. And if you look at the other side of the argument, I can see where people are saying, you know what, to them, they feel like it incites even more harsh feelings and bad feelings and racism and things. Believe me, I took a long time to think about this, Aaron, but I can see where they're coming from because it brings to the forefront difficult things that we as Americans have to answer for. And I don't think we're equipped. The modern American with any type with a I hate to say that. The modern American with political affiliation, I feel, for the most part, is not equipped to have that conversation, man. We're not. And I'm saying we because, damn it, this is all of us. And we let this shit happen. We let this get to this point. Not us like individually, you know, like but we collectively, we let this get to this point. And I'm gonna say something, and it may not be popular, but they may not have as much, in my opinion, as much blame, but Democrats didn't do anything about it either.
No,
They
agreed.
didn't try. They didn't try to change textbooks. They didn't try to. They didn't try to champion CRT before CRT got popular. So I mean, the thing is that this type of stuff has to happen with us. It's got to happen in the middle, because, well, we can spend all day talking about that. I don't want to spend all day, but in my opinion, that's where it's got to start, man. It's just got to start with us.
Well,
It's got to start with us, and it's things like this that happened in Hamilton County that we've got to expose.
Gia said, "Oh, go away, love thing. Whiteness doesn't want true history taught because they don't want anything but whiteness to take center stage."
Mhm.
Agreed. And they just don't give a damn about the history of oppression and racism and violence.
Yeah.
I agree. And along those lines, I liken this to, you know, the longer you wait to tell dad you knocked over a mailbox, the longer you try to hide that shit,
Yeah.
the longer you take to be like, you know what, whoever, girlfriend or boyfriend, I'm not into this anymore.
Mhm.
And you know, yes, these are difficult conversations. You're admitting you're flawed. We're all admitting that we could have done better somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
But the longer you go without having the conversation, the more difficult and awkward and hurtful it ultimately becomes. And we're having this conversation, and we're doing this on a cultural scale. Our inability to reconcile this, to have a true of course the word is escaping me now, the period
Conversation, discourse.
the period right after slavery ended.
Reconstruction.
To our failure to have a true reconstruction, our failure to honor pacts made, our failure to say we made a mistake and here's our opportunity to right that wrong. We've been avoiding that. And the problem is, I think Republicans think, well, the Civil Rights Act in 1964 and President Obama was black and John Lewis is a senator. All these things somehow make up for that. And they don't. And our failure to recognize these things, that the failure to, I always go back to this. You say there's no institutionalized racism. We literally wrote the first document discounting people of color.
Yeah.
And everything streams from there.
Yep. I love what Jessica just wrote. Learning history is not supposed to be a celebration. I need to wrestle with that, Jessica. That's deep. That's really deep, because as a history professor, you know, I want students to learn. I want them to have fun learning. But there are some things, and you're absolutely right, in most things that aren't fun. And they're not fun to hear about. They're not fun to read about. They're not fun to try to put yourself in that situation, or even to discuss and, you know, and to diagnose and break down. You're absolutely right. That's huge.
Also, I'd like to,
Troy.
I'd like to just quickly point out a fellow philosopher from Hanover.
There you go.
Jessica.
Excellent. Well done. Well, Gia she is just incredible. And she throws out both Harrisons slaughtered the tribes in Indiana Territory and became presidents. The son actually created a loophole for slavery to exist in Indiana. That, once again, that needs to be known. If our young people know that, they know what loopholes to look out for in the future. Once again, not saying slavery is going to make a comeback, okay? But there's always going to be a reiteration of racism. It's always going to regenerate itself. So to have our young people aware of what that looked like, that's everything. And once again, I love what Jessica said. I love what Troy said too. Well, it is fun if you think America is the greatest country ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're absolutely right, man.
Well,
you're right.
I reposted a meme that I can't remember. I'll try to hat tip it later. But somebody posted something, and I thought that's fantastic, and I've got to repost it. And it was a picture of the Last Supper, But all Jesus and the apostles were varying shades of people of color. And the commentary below it was, imagine what the world would be like if people had learned, representative culture, if they'd learned that, Jesus had Brillo pad scrubby hair, and most of these guys were varying shades of olive to brown, depending on exactly where they came from, because they were all from the fucking Middle East, for fuck's sake. And to have that representation, and it is worth asking the question, what would that be like for white people? But you're still the dominant culture. But I guess it begins to ask a lot of questions. Would they have managed to maintain such a chokehold if the savior of the world didn't look like them?
Yeah. No,
I don't know.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point. And on that note,
is it halftime?
I think we've reached halftime, my friend.
All right.
Man, what a great conversation so far. Hey, guys.
That's good shit.
Hey, you guys are like totally into this. We really
lighten it up.
Thank you so much for that. Tonight, dude, look what I'm rocking.
Oh, look at you.
I went old school on us right here.
I like it.
Is
that J-Mo?
No.
Is that Jameson?
No. I'm gonna get I'm not gonna tell you what it is, because I'll probably get hate mail for putting that in here.
If you put Fireball in, all right, on that note, everybody,
I have banished myself. Dude, listen, look, what is best? Well, oh wow, I was getting ready to go Conan on you. What is best in life? This thing is
see your enemies.
Ice cold. I can quote that, man. I really can. It's like, it's awesome. What is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. Ice cold. I don't care.
What's cooler than cool?
It'll either be you, or it'll be, if Simmons is watching, it'll either be you or Simmons. Come after me. Come at me. I don't care. Look, I'm gonna get a little.
Folks, I'm trying to educate. I don't know.
Nope. No education needed. None needed. I got it. My shot tonight, I'm going to send out, is to somebody that is more than deserving.
Human.
Yeah, more human than human. I'm sending my shot out to a little girl that has wormed her way into my heart in just a little bit over a year. For those of you guys who don't know out there, I am a pop. And that little girl, man, she is incredible, and can't wait to see her again. Get to see her every once in a while, but I know I'm going to see her soon. So this shot goes out to my little granddaughter. There you go. Wait till Pop, get you by yourself, and you can have a little sip of this. Anyway, Aaron, what do you got?
I don't have one for this week, so I will just reiterate you and say the pictures of that little girl are cute as hell, and I have made a conscious choice to not have children and therefore not have grandchildren, because that'd be difficult. But I see the joy on the faces of friends, and I have some envy, and I will just have to come over and pinch some cheeks and hold a baby.
Dude, you are an honorary uncle. I mean, you owe the twins. I don't know how you're gonna figure out, but you owe them a trip to Vegas, man. I don't know what that's gonna look like, but
yeah, let me work that out with the SO.
Cheers, man.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, slanting.
Wow. I did 3-1.
Santé, as the French say.
There you go. Our good friend John is commenting on Gia's comment. She said, in Christianity spread warfare. Yes, very true. And taking over entire peoples and countries. And Jesus had to look like those men that were winning. That is a very true point. John said there's a book called Guns, Germs, and Steel. It's a 3-part miniseries as well.
I've heard of it.
Check that out. I can't think of the author. I'll look it up after the cast if you want to check it out. Yes, absolutely, John. Please do that. We are moving into the second part of our show, and I think we're going to dedicate the rest of this time to this topic. Guys, listen, I don't know how else to reiterate this. We, as arrogant Americans, celebrated on the 4th of July that we have beaten COVID. Let me be the first to remind you, we have not anywhere close yet beaten COVID. We've come close to trying to get 70% vaccinated, but we fell short of that. But even if we, in my opinion, Aaron, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, even if we would have hit 70%, this Delta variant would have wreaked havoc anyway, like it's doing right now. This thing is for real, guys. It's serious. And the problem is that we are now less than, for some school systems and some colleges, we are less than a month away from starting school. This Delta variant has proven to be incredibly virulent, especially among the teenage and early 20-year-olds, mid 20-year-old population. It is hospitalizing healthy young people. So please, please take precaution. I'm starting to be very diligent about my mask again. Aaron, where are you at with this? What are your feelings concerned about? Where do you see us in a month or two as far as this Delta variant is concerned?
Well, I'm completely in agreement. My wife and I have had multiple conversations about should we, we went to IKEA over the weekend and just absolutely packed, and people walking by each other and standing around. And both of us thought, this just seems crazy. And is everyone without a mask vaccinated, or is everybody just taking advantage of it anymore? You don't really know. I know that I didn't get any sort of cold or flu or anything over the last basically year and a half. And then I got like 2 colds within like 6 weeks the second I stopped wearing the mask. So pros and cons to that. I mean, I think part of it is, you expose your immune system to immunities and you help build it up, but also at some point in time, you're taking a chance to catch something. I think masks do need to come back. I think it would be good if public officials and businesses themselves just encourage people, said, we're going to have our employees do this. We encourage you to mask up. It's one thing to go into a restaurant and be sitting at a table. Obviously, you need to take your mask off to eat and drink.
Sure.
But you go to Best Buy, you go to Costco, you go to any of these big box stores that on a Sunday afternoon can just be wall-to-wall people. It almost doesn't matter. Now, the statistics say the vast majority of people who are getting sick now are unvaccinated. And as much as I want to go, my humanity does not allow me to do that. I feel sorry for all the doctors who are like, we've been telling you for months now, and you just don't want to believe it because you listen to the carnival barker. But yeah, I think we're going to need to mask up. I think we may need shutdowns. We're going to need shutdowns, strategic shutdowns in various places across the country. Missouri is going to have to shut down. Missouri is turning into
Louisiana,
a huge infected space. Look, the places where you would expect people think this is a hoax is where you're going to see it happen. And we're already seeing mayors and governors saying, we got to stop doing this. Even to his credit, even Mitch McConnell's like, look, there's no excuse to not have this now, which, hey man, that's, I guess, all well and good. I sort of appreciate it. But where were you 6 months ago when stupid people in your party were like, no, this is da 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 da. You got Tucker Carlson and Fox News lying to each other on a daily basis. You got the morning show saying, hey, get vaccinated. It really helps. And then Tucker Carlson saying, don't get vaccinated. It's horrible. You're an adult American free citizen. Don't do this because blah, 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 blah. Never mind that he's vaccinated. Never mind that they're all participating in vaccine passports and all that shit. It's just anything they can do that might harm Biden and Harris and the Democratic Party they're willing to do, which tells you everything you need to know about them.
It's so sad, dude. And our resident, medical expert John is spot on from everything I'm reading. Obviously you're right, John. He's saying clinically that if you're not vaccinated, COVID will find you. 99% of all hospitalizations are unvaccinated. It's just, guys, just continue to be diligent and be smart. Just be smart. I was wrong. We don't want to spend the rest of the time on this. Actually, we probably want to wrap it up because, my friend, I'm going to let you reveal to our audience that we actually have 5 minutes of infamy to cover tonight, don't we?
We do. I don't want to cut this short. So if there's more to be said, I'm quite happy to cede the Hey Aaron segment to our buddy. So I think there's value in talking about this because there are very, very distinct groups of people who are vaccine resistant now. One obviously is the group of people that we've been talking about that have been fed so much misinformation that they just aren't going to do it. There is a segment of society who are vigilant about what they put in their bodies and don't like the fact that it's not a fully approved vaccination and that we're already seeing certain side effects from it that can't be discounted. There is an even smaller subset of people who are like, fuck you, I read about Tuskegee already.
True.
So why should I trust you? I have varying levels of agreement and understanding with these particular groups, but it's the misinformation that just gets me. I just go back to the fact that, Tony Fauci has dedicated his life to this and has worked across multiple administrations. He has no particular overt political affiliation telling him what to do. The science tells him what to do. And by the way, I posted this the other day. Science isn't truth. Science is the pursuit of truth. And when science changes its mind on something, it's because they found new information, not because they were lying to you. And don't get me wrong. Have there been bogus scientists and people that have attempted to hoodwink people? Yes, they're humans. Sure. But I am not idolizing or elevating science above what it is and attempts to do. It's pursuing a certain amount of truth. And if you think people with no ability whatsoever to analyze things in a lab have more information than the World Health Organization or especially the CDC, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to help you. I can have a conversation with an old African-American gentleman who's like, look, I had friends taken advantage of by Tuskegee. I've had friends lied to. I've had friends not get good health care because we're people of color. I can have that conversation. It's uncomfortable, but it's American history to bring things full circle. I can have a conversation with people with compromised immune systems who say, look, I'm not sure I can put something in my body like that. We can talk about mitigating factors, but if you come at me with Bill Gates is trying to microchip me, and this is the one that really gets me. Donald Trump deserves all the credit in the world for getting this vaccine out there that I refuse to take because it's bullshit. That is the biggest fucking cognitive dissonance that I've ever heard in my entire life. And I can't have that conversation. I can't have a conversation with people who just do not acknowledge basic aspects of reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how we move forward with that. And we're never going to reach this 70 or 90% of herd immunity. It's just not going to happen.
I agree. It's not. John, I think this statement, this ought to sum up our segment here. John said, we've been hit with a hard jab in the medical system. Let's not lean into the right cross that's coming. I mean, I think we all feel it. I feel it. I mean, once again, as an educator, I'm like, oh no. Oh my God, no. We worked so hard to get our students back in person, and we understand that in-person learning helps students so much. But I think that this segment of people, and don't forget, evangelical fundamentalists. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think Jesus would be, as a historical figure, I think Jesus would be the first one to say, dude, get a shot. This is how you can help. Get a shot. I mean, it's that old joke, right? It's like the guy that's stranded in the boat, that's sinking, like this little rowboat. And then all of a sudden another boat, he starts praying. And like this big cruise ship comes by and says, hey, do you want us to save you? And the guy looks up and says, nah, that's okay. I'm praying. God's going to save me. And that happens 3 times. It's like, this is what is going to save what you want as regular, normal life to come back again. And you're not accepting it.
Yep.
And so it's hard for me to feel bad for you.
I sent you a car, a boat, and a helicopter.
Sent me a helicopter.
That's the West Wing.
Oh, that's the other. Yeah. Exactly. I was like, dang, man, you love me very much, don't you? Send me a helicopter.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All
right.
Yeah, let's do this.
So
I'm excited.
Io, if you are out there listening, go ahead and come at us and join. We're gonna have a little discussion. We're switching gears for sure. But the Olympics have sort of already begun. There's always events that take place before the opening ceremonies because of how long it takes to get through them. And the overwhelming favorites to win Olympic gold medal in women's soccer is the U.S. women's national team. Kristen Press, Megan Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, Tobin Heath. I mean, just absolutely star-studded team. And at 4:30 this morning, Eastern Standard Time, they got their asses handed to them 3-0 by their absolute international arch nemesis, Sweden. And I think coming on to discuss that particular aspect is Io.
I said send him the link. I thought we did.
No, I did. I sent it via your Microsoft.
Check Messenger.
Check Messenger.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what Io has to say about this. It's gonna be good.
Well, I think I did not see the game because I was not getting up at
right. I'm not getting up
4:30 in the morning for this.
No.
Last time I did that was 2002 for the United States versus Portugal.
Man, that's almost 20 years ago, brother.
Also in Japan. And by the way, I woke up and I was like, I rolled back over and my dad going, no, there's goals. Come on, we're doing this.
No, not doing it. Not doing it.
So right now I'm killing time. So until our buddy gets here, I'm gonna show you
what are you gonna show me?
So I saw one of these in Broad Ripple the other day, and I thought, what a ridiculous vehicle. So I had to look it up.
Oh, I know. Okay. Yes.
It is a Rezvani tank military edition, and I have decided to build one out, and I made mine Manchester United red because damn fucking right. The base price on this vehicle, this version is $259,000. Can you see my screen?
It's wonderful.
Okay.
I mean, I like the vehicle. I really do, because it's just that super manly, like.
It was kind of badass to see, but when you realize what it is, you're like, all right, that's kind of overkill, bro.
But why do you need it in Indiana?
Right.
Why do you need it in Indiana?
That was my point. But look, the base level of the military edition: bulletproof glass and body armor, underside explosive protection,
Right.
electromagnetic pulse protection, smoke screen, military run flat tires, thermal night vision, radiator protection, reinforced suspension, ram bumpers, electrified door handles,
That is messed up,
siren
dude.
and horn options. I'll be within a sec, Io. Strobe lights, blinding lights, intercom system, magnetic deadbolts, gas mask, first aid kit, hypothermia kit. That's all standard. I went with mirror metallic red for $5,000 more. I added the Demon Performance Package with 1,000 horsepower for $95,000.
Wow.
The Throaty Sport Exhaust for another $1,750. Tow package, side steps, lighting, built-in front bumper, operational windows.
Wait, an auxiliary fuel tank?
Auxiliary fuel tank for $8,500. Steel rim bumper, off-road extreme suspension, big brake kit for another like 18 grand.
Respect is fading.
Full leather, 7,500. Seat options, executive rear seats for 15 grand. Gauge vase color for 3,500. Audio entertainment system, 12,500. Ultimately, this costs $481,780. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe. You can all jump in.
Dude, that is just that's sad. That is so sad. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our friend of the pod joining us, and hopefully he will connect really soon. This is Io. Io has been on here before, and he's given us his opinion about things. And there he is. There he is.
Io decided to grace us with portrait view.
Hey, Io, I just noticed, man. We got the gray. I got a little more, but I see that you got gray into it. Don't hide it.
What are we talking about here?
I'm talking about the gray in the beard, man. I'm just saying. Ladies like that.
This is what happens when you're a Chelsea fan. You go gray early.
Yeah, there you go. Io, come on, drop some knowledge on us, man. You got 5 minutes of infamy.
Crush it.
Go, my friend.
All right, so we'll start off by saying the Olympics are here. Finally, after a year. Woo! Finally. I mean, granted, not taking place under the greatest conditions, but what you gonna do? So, I don't know if anybody watched the game this morning. So I know two of you are aware that I'm a pretty avid women's football watcher, right? So I'm watching this game. So if you had asked me before this tournament started, first off, let's talk about the Olympic women's soccer tournament. It's probably the most underrated international tournament there is. That and the African Cup of Nations, those two.
Bold statement.
So the two, yeah. So coming into this tournament on the back of 2019, you would have thought, okay, the US, they have all the firepower. They probably have the best midfield on the planet between Horan, Lavelle, and Mewis, which if you've never seen Sam Mewis play, please go. She's like a female Paul Pogba, just about. She's that good. So.
Prone to the same mistakes? Yeah,
this is his podcast.
Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
Let us just dwell on Pogba and his great. Please continue.
Well, yeah, they're good. So now you would have put money for this team. They're the overwhelming favorites.
Yes,
no doubt. However, and I talked to my friend about this after 2019 because we have to go back a few, right? 2019, I don't think people realize, unless you've watched women's football for a while, how amazing that run that they did in that year was. Like, they got out that group fairly easy, but on European soil, again, they beat the top teams in Europe on European soil. Like, I don't think people understand how difficult that run was. I didn't pick them to win, but the fact that they went through it. And I remember talking to one of my best friends, Alexis, and I was like, Because usually when the US go on a run like this, they usually like a few blowouts here and there. The blowouts only happen in the group stage. Like teams were competing.
Who did you pick to win?
Oh, the Dutch.
Fair enough.
I was close. Close. But, you know, watching the tournament, I remember talking to my best friend. I was like, look, this may be blasphemy because, you know, they've proved me wrong again and again. But I think we are beginning to see the decline in the gap between the US women's national team and particularly Europe, like shrink. Like
Okay.
it's been happening. It's
Okay.
been happening since like 2011. Like if you watch World Cups since 2011 Olympics, it's been happening, but not on a scale like this. Like I don't like this loss is so bad. Like the last time I saw US play this badly was literally 2007 semifinals World Cup when they got whooped by Brazil. Well, let me rephrase that. They got whooped by one person, Martha. And that's what, 14 years? That's 14 years ago. Now, they are going to make the next round. They got Australia, they got New Zealand. They will make the next round. However, I don't think people realize this team is old. That front line, they're all in their 30s. But I'm not even worried about the front line as much as I'm worried about the midfield. Because if you had told me a midfield of Mewis, Lavelle, and Horan would get overrun by Sweden, by Sweden.
1 minute.
Like, not that Sweden isn't good, but by Sweden, if you told me maybe England, yes. The Dutch, oh yeah. Sweden? Nah. But do I think the US are still in it? Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to count them out yet. I will say this. This may be the last time this team wins a major tournament for a while, because people forget, after they won in 99, they did not win a World Cup again until 2015. Now, they did reach semifinal after semifinal, no doubt, but they didn't win it to 2015. So I think we are beginning to see the beginning of the end of just like the sheer dominance of this team. So don't panic. If they win, wouldn't surprise me if they win gold. I don't think they're the favorite, but from here on out, do not expect to see any like, they're not going to be like the women's basketball team where they're just out dominating people anymore. It's over.
10 seconds.
Like right now, it's just a toss up. So enjoy the Olympics, but me personally, I will not put my money on the US this year.
Who's going to win it?
Oof. I think it's either going to be Great Britain or the Dutch.
Okay.
Japan is my dark horse. They did win the women's under 20 in 2018, and the 2019 World Cup was a test run for them.
Good.
They didn't look too great this morning against Canada. I fully
What was the
expect
score
them
there?
to be 1-1.
Okay.
Like they equalized in the 82nd minute. I mean, it's your typical Japan tiki-taka football, you know, that sort of thing.
That's time. That's time. And so, Aaron, what do we do here? Do we keep? No. Wait, Io. Do we keep Io here? Do you have anything you want to skewer him about? Or
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave him on the screen just so we can see his response. But I've muted him so he can't talk. I have
wow.
I have 2 points. One, I totally agree with the notion that the gap has really been shortened. It's just not what it used to be. It's an argument I make on the men's side of the game, but I think what's more apt on the men's side of the game is, yes, the gap is narrowing a little bit, but it's not like Brazil and Italy and Argentina aren't also getting better as they play.
They just reload, man. They reload.
Well, and the U.S. women seem to reload. I think the problem is there's no larger international culture of the game, and therefore there's not a lot that teaches the U.S. women new tricks right now. Okay,
I can get with that. Here's what I loved about what Io said. Io, I'm not going to skewer you, man. Here's what I love. I love everything that you said. I love the fact that that you threw in the do not panic piece. because I do have faith in the United States coaching staff. I have faith that we are able to train up, that we're able to, especially on the women's side. Men's side, I'm kind of hesitant about that. But a U.S. women's team, I'm very confident in the way that our coaches approach the game, the way they're able to bring up new talent. I think, honestly, this is just my thought about this game, this match. I think this match is an anomaly. However, I do think it is an indication of a greater issue. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Io, and that issue is age. I think there's too much difference. There's too much age gap between our experienced veteran players and our new players coming up. If it was a little closer, I think there would be more, there'd be more dynamics there. But I just don't see him. I don't see him gelling to make the final. I don't have the U.S. making the final. I don't have them making the final.
My pushback.
I do agree with Japan, though. I agree with Japan. I do.
My pushback on the age thing, I don't think the U.S. women's national team is aging in the same way that some other federations have done. I think there are plenty of, and we saw this right before the Olympics began. We saw a lot of articles about, oh, why are we taking this group of people when there are so many talented youngsters? Right now, there's a very, I think, straightforward plan to be the first team to win the World Cup and the Olympics back to back, and they want to do it with largely the group that did the World Cup. They want that to mean something to them. I think tomorrow you could bring in probably 11 to 15 young women, probably under 25, and could replace a significant portion of the current U.S. women's national team.
Okay. So here's where I'm going to go Shannon Sharp on you. Skip.
I am not Skip.
Skip. When does the Olympics mean more in the World Cup? Why can't you find your validation in winning the World Cup? Why do you have to come back and win the Olympics? We know that the U.S. women's team was the best team in the world.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I was like, he's dying. Let's give him.
All right, man. You get like 1
seconds.
minute. You get 60 seconds. Do it. Come on, man.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. So here's the thing, right? The problem is those 11 players that you're going to say that they're going to bring in, they've not played on this level ever. Like ever. Every other squad has. Like the Dutch, they've been through this. Reminder, they're current European champions. And they've been to a World Cup final. And they probably have the best striker on the planet in Vivian Miedema, who, after a lackluster season, is quite in form. So, like I said, not that they don't have firepower, but how much firepower do you really have if you're still sending Carly Lloyd out there? I'm not saying she's not capable. I'm just saying, like, because between her, between Press, between Morgan, between Rapinoe, they are all over 30. All of them. And like, if you watch that game today, they were inept. And like, I do not say that lightly about because I like all of them, but they were inept. So I don't know whether, again, they'll probably do much better against Australia and New Zealand. But if they come up against Great Britain, they come up against the Dutch, if they come up against Sweden again, I mean,
I'll just say this. Coming into this game, they were they unbeaten or they'd won 44 games in a row?
They had, yes.
Okay.
They had won that many, yes.
I don't know how much to take away from this game. And again, I did not see it. I did not see the performance.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it was bad.
I've heard it was horrible. But my first thought is, God help New Zealand.
Oh, they're gonna get whacked.
If you don't think,
yes.
if you don't think the U.S. women are about to drop 14 on New Zealand like they did to Thailand. I mean, they are ready. They're going to be out for blood.
Yeah, man.
Here's the problem. I absolutely adore Sam Kerr. So I hope the United States wins that match 3-1 and Sam Kerr scores a goal and gets to do a backflip.
Yeah, no, I don't see that. I see
Sam
Rapinoe
Kerr
coming
so
out
much.
with red
She's such a
hair,
love
bro.
player.
Red hair. She's like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm done with the purple. She come out with red. Like she's going to come out. I agree with that assessment, Aaron.
Also,
I do.
Is it weird that it's Sweden, United States, Australia, and New Zealand? I mean, to put two teams from the same confederation.
I was wondering about that.
That seems odd. So
that's interesting.
I was wondering about that.
I got to be honest. This may be the most in-depth conversation about women's soccer going on in the country right now.
We're long overdue.
We are absolutely long overdue. As a former youth girls soccer coach, and having coached some outstanding young ladies. And I tried my hardest to never make a distinction between the way the men played the game and the women played the game, and just encourage them to be themselves. I love that we're at this level. The viewership for women's sports, and specifically soccer and basketball, is like up 400%. It's awesome. They're about to find out how much money they can make off families taking little girls, just like they took little boys to the ballparks a long time ago. You're gonna make just as much money doing the same thing. It's huge. It's important. And Io, you've raised some fantastic points. I love having you on, man. And I look forward to some hanging out at our watering hole for some games soon.
And by the way, Io, real quick. Hey, thanks for representing, man. I see it. Yeah, I saw you.
And before you let me go, I just want to implore everyone that's watching, please. I know it's early in the morning. I'm fortunate enough where I have a job where I have to be up at fucking 4 a.m, but take the time to watch the Women's Olympics soccer. It's usually on either NBCSN, or if you have Peacock, which I'm sure most of us do because of Premier League, watch the games. Especially after the group stage is over, you will be thoroughly entertained. And just to put out a few names you should look out for, because I know everyone knows the women's team. From the Dutch, they're one of the favorites. I've already mentioned her, Vivian Miedema. She's a striker. She's probably the best striker on the planet. She's 25, and she's the all-time leading goal scorer for the Dutch, men or women, and she's only 25. Just throw that out there.
Nice.
Also, you mentioned Aaron mentioned Sam Kerr from Australia.
Love her.
One of the best strikers on the planet as well. Iwabuchi from Japan. She plays for Aston Villa in England. She's really good. And for the Swedes, I can never say her name, Black Steinus, but she has one of the most gangster Nordic names I've ever heard in my life. She scored 2 today.
It's Stenia Blackstenius, isn't it?
Thank you. Yes.
It's badass. Yeah. I'm gonna fuck you up. My name's Stenia Blackstenius. Get the fuck off.
Wow.
Her. Yes. She scored 2 today. She's really good. And from Great Britain, Ellen White, who's 32, she's still banging the goal. She doesn't move around like she used to, but she's really good. You also have Kim Little, who's 31, who's, if you like Xavi, you like Iniesta, that type of game, you will like Kim Little. So please look out for these ladies. All these ladies are great. Just even if you can't watch it at the time it's live, DVR it, watch some of the games, especially after the group. I promise you will not regret it.
Awesome. Io, thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it, man. It's been multiple minutes of infamy, but it's been great to have him on.
I appreciate you giving me the leeway. Thank you.
No, man, no, it's great. And I have a feeling there's going to be a couple of little girls beating some ass in Fisher soccer over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
No. When you say beating that, they're Taekwondo girls. That's what.
Oh, they've gone that route?
Okay.
All right. Well, they're beating that ass in a different way.
Yeah, they do.
Look, I know you, man. I know it's going to be something. All right. I appreciate you, brother. It's fantastic to have people on. You too, by the way, can be part of 5 Minutes of Infamy. If you've got something passionate that you want to talk about, hit us up and we'll put you on. You got 5 minutes, mostly uninterrupted. I got in the way a little bit. But also we're going to put you on blast if you come with some bullshit. So
that's right.
Io, it's been good. We're going to send this out. Evan,
Yeah,
any
man.
last
I
words,
tell
man?
you what, this is no. Let's not break tradition, my friend. I'm going to send this back to you. Io, once again, thanks a lot, brother. Guys, listen, we thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Once again, we didn't get a chance to do the Hey Aaron segment, so I'll save it for next week. But my man, listen, this is my just as equally favorite part of the show. Send us out with some good words, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next week. Aaron, what you got for us, bro?
I tell you what I got for you is finding the silver lining in things. I've had I'm not gonna bullshit. I've had a rough go of it lately, but things seem to be looking up, and it's moments like this. It's having these conversations, that first half of the show where everybody was tuning in, this fun part right here with Io having a discussion about, I got to be honest, I don't think there's too many people having a deep in-depth conversation about the women's international game right now. So I think this is effing cool. So happy to have Gia back. It's been a minute since we've heard from you. Always love John tuning in. Always love Troy tuning in. All y'all, it's
Jessica.
It's special. Yeah, Jessica, again, fantastic. It's apparently our 25th reunion this fall. Are you going? Anyway, I know.
Youngster.
I know, right? I know. 25th college reunion this fall. I
had
want to hear about it.
I had this one this summer, man. It was bad. It was bad.
So there it is. But look, folks, we're here to put a smile on a face and have a good time and a good conversation. We appreciate you tuning in. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, making some connections and having some fun. So I'm keeping my head up. You keep your head up. And as ever, Black people vote.
Black people vote.
Be easy.